now that we have had several professionals agree on the diagnosis for complex regional pain syndrome, or CRPS, what's day-to-day life like for you now?
Well, a good place to start is we had to cut the last part off because I can get violently ill immediately with no warning. So we had to take a longer break than we thought. So that really leads into what now, right? So I think I mentioned I don't have a pain management. I've done my own research. I've spent hours and hours reading or watching what doctors have to say, scientists have to say, and three of the top in the nation that I could find. One was just entirely, we're talking upwards of $60,000 to $80,000 for treatment. I'm not quite sure everything that's done. And then two doctors on the East Coast that really head the CRPS and really are able to, they've really spent years and years studying it and have kind of reviewed my information as much as they can and just said both pretty much referred to the director of CRPS for the US, which is Jim Broach. We have interviewed him. He's incredible. He was at least able to look at some of my pictures. I will map what my body does the best that I can. That's if I'm able to write or pick up the camera. Oftentimes, first of all, you never know what your body's going to do. You don't know how quick it will come on. You don't know the duration. You don't know how intense. You don't know what it will all affect. And it affects more than just your nerves and pain. It can do damage. It's your nervous system. It can do damage in many, many more places in your body that are obviously very, very needed and life-sustaining, and when it's not working properly, your quality of life is just, that's just talking about. And if you see, I'm struggling a little bit more right now. It's fighting against me, and so it's pulling my attention. Speaking of Jim, he's been incredible as speaking about the pictures he's looked at. It's interesting, a lot of times my arms or the fever, so anything visible, which is normally a fever or even a little bit of swelling, will be different on both sides, but that a lot of times the arms will mimic each other, or the hands. That's really interesting. When I say mimic, and it's different every time, you'll see a fever, like maybe running like this, like totally, completely strange pattern, right? and I'll look at this arm and it mimics it perfectly. I've taken pictures of that, and the artist in me is like, take pictures and I'll share it with my siblings or my family and say, look how cool the body is, because it is. It's incredibly complex and beautiful. And that's incredible to me when you see still its intelligence, even its in its confusion.
And this is usually brought on by limbs or other kinds of damage and accidents and things. But you had mentioned that you was a very rare cranial case. So can you just talk a little bit about what that means?
It can be brought on by a surgical procedure, surgery, or as small as a sprain. It's usually in the limbs, like most everyone. They're still trying to figure out why and what happens and why does it happen in certain people and not others. You know, why can some people have several breaks, several sprains, several surgeries, and never have their nervous system and brain have this breakdown? I know that they're looking into genetics, I think is one of the things maybe Jim mentioned. They're noticing that many of the cases have EDS, which I just started thinking about more deeply. In this crazy journey of CRP or Spoonful of Sugar, we have met a cousin of mine who is incredible. And it's been such a blessing. And I would not have ever known she was out there. But she's been able to catch things like one of my pictures. I'm doing this, you know. She's like, oh, you have that side of the family's, you know, joints. And that made me think, like, well, hold on, because I know enough about EDS. I've watched plenty of people with it and lost some dear people to me. And it got me thinking, like, there's just certain things that I can do where it's extra flexible. If I put my arm straight, it doesn't go straight, it will go. I'm not going to do it now. It will just, my elbow will just kind of, I guess I can. But if I were to just let it rest, my elbow goes way in. And I don't think I'd have a very, I don't know what to think of it. When they said that, and I realized, like, wait a minute, I have, because that's one of the telltale signs, is these extra flexible joints, right? And it's enough for us to want to check into it, but eventually, because we have enough doctor's appointments, and I know that one doctor / scientist, he's been studying CRPS, I think 6-7 years now. And, you know, at the end of the article I read, it was just kind of like, you know, I've been studying this, and the longer I'm in it, the less I feel like I understand. It's so complex. And the nervous system and the brain are both, you know, the most complex, I think, besides the digestive system. And all three of those are caught up wildly with each other in CRPS. So you never know what you're going to be doing, what you're getting, or if you're going to be on the floor, in a ball, in your bed, or dancing from hour to hour.
You know, people can wrap their heads a little bit around pain when people are having a baby, they've hurt themselves, something's happening with their body maybe right then, and the nerves are, designed
Right.
to send those messages. With CRPS, even if an injury was in the past, and I understand it's a complex and kind of a disordered condition, what's the best way that you would describe what pain you're going through, especially how it's ranked even more painful than childbirth? Like when you're having a flare-up of triggering of some kind, what's the kind of disordered pain sensation that you're, that you're going through as people are trying to understand more?
What am I going through specifically? What am I feeling? Or how would I describe?
I mean, like CRPS, it's painful. Why?
Let me say again, it's also termed RSDSA.
Mm-hmm.
It's just more known now, I believe, as CRPS. So if you're looking into information and you're struggling with CRPS, look at RSDSA.
I mean, that's the basic way to think of it. I'm in pain. Why? I just had a child. Oh,
what is it compared to? What is it? Yeah, that.
Yeah,
all that?
I mean, if someone's having a conversation and someone's saying, "Oh, I hurt because I broke my ankle." Oh, okay, I understand because you broke your ankle. I hurt because I just had a child. Oh, okay.
Well, number one, it's I've had enough pain experiences to be able to compare it to, and including a fractured foot that took forever to heal, and it was horrendous. This is another level. Childbirth, I had our first natural. It's another level. CRPS pain makes you hate the pain scale. We can't stand that somebody decided it stops at 10. It's hard to say 10 to us. It genuinely is. Or even to be asked what your, it's laughable because you can see it. It's pain that I have a healthy fear of and a very healthy respect for, and I don't play around when it starts threatening. It at a certain pain level, it will demand your attention. There's nothing you can do about that. I'll go back and say, if I don't want you to know I'm in pain, you won't. That's not completely true. There's a certain level where I won't even know you're there. So a certain pain level where that's just, not only will I not know a lot of what's going on around me, but I certainly wouldn't be able to put the energy into masking it. Nor would you at that point want to, It's pain that can send you into a panic attack. A true, real, scary in itself panic attack. It's pain that is beyond any other original surgery or injury. So it will continue to tell the nervous system that that's an injury. But it's so much worse. My pain now around my eye, and so I would identify with type 2, I believe CRPS, and that's where you kind of know where it started. My pain that I get often. It's different, varies, you know, and it can be triggered for me just about anything. It can be pressure change, it can be light, it can be too much of a touch of my pillow, it could be like barely just rubbing right here, or my fingers are too warm, so then the fever spreads and then it irritates my nerves. It could be laughing too hard, it could be crying. Crying's a big one that will trigger it. It could be Rex kissing my forehead and his whiskers just touched it too much. But I will not know if it's going to, the minute I feel those nerves react, I know to be on alert. Like, I will not know if it's going to pass or if it's going to reach that 10 in 5 minutes. It can climb quickly, it can spread quickly, and then I don't know how many days. I don't know how many hours or days. It's gone, the longest flare-up is, I think, 10 full days. And that includes no sleep. When I say no sleep, it's no restful sleep. I think I counted this last time that it was 9 days, and it was 14 hours of any kind of sleep. You know, often lose your appetite. If it's bad enough, you will drink less because you don't want to get up to go to the restroom. It's that bad.
Is it a burning, stinging,
okay, yes.
aching, shooting?
So, and I don't want to answer, this is me. It can be stabbing, throbbing, burning in that the fevers are so intense. Not a like a stinging burning. Burning, absolutely. And when I am, anybody around me knows that's happening. And I don't care if I have several fans in my room, and you guys, I've already talked about how I keep the temperature low. If it's going to flare up, nothing will change that. If that's going on and I have pain and the burning and my nervous system, and then I also will have like just these nerves right under the skin, that blood, you know, that blood that's flowing right under the skin, and it's so my nervous system affects my adrenals. My nervous system can like build up this nervousness and anxiety to the point where I can tell people I feel like I'm on the edge, and they know when I say that I'm just I can't handle much more. So whatever we need to do to calm it down, and you guys know that we watch shows at night. That's helping bring everything down. So when I'm actively, if somebody were to, I have to be careful of how I sleep, and I've searched for pillows. Our pillows, we spare no expense because I need a pillow that will hold my head but also not push back. And so it's ridiculous that a pillow would ever cost $100, but that's what they cost, and that's the only one I've found, and we've gone through dozens and dozens. But even that, if it pushes back too hard when I'm flaring up, not good. And it will start spreading. Let me just say this. Even just a slight touch is just like, when I'm going through it, it's like, you cannot come near me. Do not. I'm afraid of what you're going to do. I don't need, even if you were to whisper, that hot air could just flare up even more. And a lot of times it's interesting, just so you understand, like how it's affected my nerves ever since my 3rd surgery. I think the nerves were just, had to be cut too many times, but if I do just this light like I'm barely touching my skin. Up here, it feels like somebody's doing the same thing right on the top of my head. Very same sensation. So the body is beautifully complex, but when it's not, it doesn't know quite how to work anymore. It runs wild, and it's almost impossible to corral it, you know, like and reteach it. And there's so many symptoms and so many things I could talk about with my body that it's hard to drive in the car for more than a couple hours, because anything can happen, and an emergency can happen, and you know it's rough. It's, I could go on and on about that, but it's,
You feel it in other places other than behind your
yes.
eye, head and neck, right? It's what
Yes.
other places in your body do you
So like I said, it's spread to my both arms and my hands. They don't react as much as my head and face. I don't think anything will. But when they are, if you were to touch where I'm flaring up, and now it's even, and Rex can speak to this, I'll let him talk about this, where it's hot. It's hot. And right next to it,
cold, very cold.
So
Yeah, very
skin
strong
half an inch
contrast.
away from the other skin is two different temperatures. And so I can also get it's really interesting, I can also get extremely cold even while I'm hot. It's like, you know, a lot of people, some of their therapy is getting in a warm shower or a cold shower. I struggle with both. I get fever very quickly. I can get cold. We are all constantly in this home trying to regulate temperature. Rex and Julie, just because they live here, and but it's easier for them to put on layers, and for me it's like, I need my face cold and I need my arms cold, but maybe not. I don't know. My face does not deal with the cold. It's just my arms and hands. But now I've got it spreading. I've been to the ER 3 times in the last 7 months, just over the same thing.
You get progressive.
Like I've properly thought and even hoped that they would find anything, but tell me it's CRPS progressing.
Yeah.
You know, tell me I have, my appendix is gone, my gallbladder's gone. So we're like, well, hell, we've got the liver and the kidneys and the, tell me it's pancreatitis, I think that's how it's called, or tell me, and every time they're like, they come in and they know the heaviness, they're starting to know what it is. For years they haven't, and so we're finally getting a little headway in helping people know what that is. And it's serious. We're talking about people having limbs amputated, and that's wild to me, because what am I gonna do? You know, if it gets worse in my head. But this is very, very serious. You can have your muscle die. You can have, it's beyond. That's all I can say is it is beyond what any fairly healthy person can ever conjure up. It is the thing of nightmares. Now there are other conditions close to it, and the only other condition I've heard that's been dubbed suicide disease, like this is trigeminal neuralgia, which again is nerves in your face and head. Cranial pain itself is is just, I know that my neurologist was saying, I think you have, you have several layers of pain going on. You've got migraines, you've got tension, you've probably got cluster, you've got your nerves on the outer and your nerves inside, and then she's like, and then cranial pain is just its own cruel beast, And so often you guys get to see Rex, and he's this beautiful spokesperson and and almost the picture of Spoonful, but there's reasons for that. I cannot, and I know that sometimes there's a little frustration with you guys not seeing me, and I'm asking for your kindness. You don't know what I'm going through. You don't know if it's going to hurt for me to look at you, or it's going to hurt for me to smile or even talk. You don't know what's starting or how long I've been going through it, or if I'm just at the tail end of it and I'm exhausted. And there's nothing more that I love than being with my family and our Spoonful family. But Rex graciously has stepped up and been this for you guys and for me, as we try to reach you, because we have to keep going. We can't stop because my nervous system is. But to give you an example of how it can spread and why having any procedure done when you have CRPS should never be taken lightly, even the littlest thing. If you do not have ketamine in your system first to calm everything down before you have a major surgery or small surgery, you're risking, at least that's what I know from what they say now. But even lidocaine, I need to make sure, if I know I'm having shots, from now on I'm doing lidocaine, because for my immunizations for COVID and for just ketamine stuff, and I now have, these have not ever been the same. They hurt to touch, and especially when I'm flaring up or something, they flare up with it. Even a little needle can make a difference in the life of somebody with CRPS.
What's a day-to-day life like for you then?
Yeah, so we kind of touched on the pain itself. Day-to-day life, well, number one, I don't need calendars anymore, other than for a few precious things and doctors, or something to do with my medical. Two, it's my days don't start and end morning, night, and they don't look like that. They run into each other. Oftentimes I don't know what date it is or day of the week. It's just this, it's now a long journey, and it's moment to moment. And that is painful, but it's very beautiful as well, because I don't take those for granted. And so when you're living moment to moment, and you're able and willing to see miracles all around you, and you're seeing them more easily, and you're seeing the simple things as big miracles, that's the beauty of it. So, but I don't wipe out day to day. That does not work for me. It couldn't if I tried. It just is moment to moment, and even if it's bad, making it good.
In that 24-hour period, people that follow you understand that you're in bed a lot, but that doesn't mean that you don't take an opportunity when you don't need to be in bed to serve, either from bed.
I serve. Well, I run Spoonful. I could be up at 2, 3 in the morning. I went and drew our logo, our Spoonful logo, at between 2 and 3 in the morning, and at a 9 pain. I just decided one night, I'm done having it float in my head. I'm in pain anyway. I need to get this out there. I'm not sleeping. I went to my office, and it was between a 20 and 30 minute drawing. It was less than 30 minutes because it's been in my head, and it has a lot of meaning. But that's what I do. It's sometimes I get so tired of the pain, you just don't. You're just like, you're not. I don't care. Well, then I'm going to go do something while you're making me suffer. I'm not just going to sit here and suffer. I could, and I'm always, whoever I feel like whoever's come to my mind that day, I really try hard to reach out. And if I can't reach out, there's thoughts and prayers, and but mostly I spend hours every single day of my life thinking about Spoonful and you guys and your conditions and what we've learned and how we can better it and how we have to better it, and how disgusted that I am that we have not been a hell of a lot better than we have been. How I could take the same amount of money that somebody puts on their finger and make it go and help. You know, we're not curing anybody. We're not paying medical bills. Rex and I have been very open about what Spoonful is. We are here to love on you guys. And my word, the ways to love on you guys is endless. The ideas will not stop coming. Ideas for artwork, ideas for what you might need and what you might want and what you might get that you didn't know you needed or wanted. I'm studying all the time companies and their new products. I'm reading up on laws. Me being in bed means nothing other than I have to be there. I can't. My nerves are screaming, and I need to just allow my body to try to rest. But other than that, my mind's firing all the time, and that's so much for the love of all of my families, and you guys are a huge part of that. And especially when I'm suffering, it makes me think of your suffering, and especially when I'm isolated, because you can be isolated with the best people around you. But I know some of you are truly, in every sense of the word, isolated. You've been left, you've been abandoned, you've been abused, you've been by loved ones, by doctors, by the system, by everybody. And I'm gonna need to stop there, because you guys know I can get passionate. So
you're very driven and motivated by the love, the true connection that you feel for people and family around the world, and you have these hopes to continue, right, to expand that. But you also know that putting yourself first is important. Even though you don't get as restful sleep as you would like, what are some other things that you do for yourself, for your health, happiness, and peace, so that you can lead Spoonful?
So self-care is extremely important, and it's something I'm excited to help anyone that's struggling with that figure out for themselves. It's very personal. When I say self-care, I do not define that for anyone else. That's you, and some of you won't know what that is because you're so busy living, right? Trying to survive. And that's something that Rex and I think are excited to help. Self-care for me looks like making my surroundings beautiful. Rex spoils me with certain things, and that is, I'm very, very, I love clothing and very well made clothing, even though I don't get to wear it a lot, I don't want to let go of that. And it's important to not let go of who you were and to embrace who you are now, and always think about who you can be. In this state, I don't want you to think about who you can be without it. It's important to say, who can I be in this state? Because you would be shocked at how happy you can be, and how far you can go, and what muscles you can grow, and how creative you can become. If you haven't already figured it out, you guys have to think differently when you're suffering. That makes you innovators. That makes you overcomers. That makes you life lovers, because you're taking another breath. It's the reason that it was easy when they said, when Chair Choice said, tell us what positivity means to you. And I was like, well, it's not the positivity that people think usually, but it's real. It's the most beautiful positivity I've ever seen. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, and you mentioned about redefining it.
That's what I'm talking about. It's not what people normally think of, but it's so stunning, and it's the most pure version of it that I've ever seen. You're already overcomers, innovators. You're miraculous and stunning. And so right now, I don't care if you're in a hospital bed, your home bed, I don't care if you're on the couch sleeping somewhere, your life can be beautiful. Another way that I take care of myself, I'm very... The one thing I felt like I could still be in control of, right, is skincare and hair care, which you wouldn't know from this video, because I told Rex, look, we gotta do it. But Rex will... I make sure my nails are taken care of. He loves to do manicures on me while because those bottom nerves are very important, and can relax you even in pain, unless you have CRPS in one of those, or both your feet. But and if so, your hands. But now we, all the girls that you see in our family photo, we all go, and we've decided we want to do manis or pedis once a month, and I love it, and that's important. And I love makeup, and I love art, and I love color, and I love perfume, like a lot. Like I love the complexity of it, and I love mixing and making my own scents, and I love different cultures, and I love, I have a hard love for law, and I have a harder love for history, and I love language, and I never stop learning. I'm always learning through lessons, through classes, courses, lessons, documentaries, reading, and I love learning about you guys. Those are ways I spoil myself. And then it's easy to feel loved by my little family around me. They spoil me. Well, those are my yeah. And Nins, she's a true addiction. Our little granddaughter. I spoil myself by saying, we'll kind of ask her sometimes, does Nins have time on her calendar for Pa Meme? Do you think she can pencil us in? And she'll come in usually going, Meme, I'm coming!
Yeah.
All the way up the stairs.
So excited.
Meme, coming! Or just telling me something all the way up, and my heart just... And she loves makeup and skincare and art and everything. Yeah, and Blue October and Justin. Just like, oh, that's another way I spoil myself. Blue October and Justin. Just a little plug.
Yeah.
But she loves all of that just as much as me.
Well, I love the, you know, the balance that you, even in the spoony life, make as a priority for yourself, and that's something even just in a marriage that we continue to strive to
Yeah.
to do. With what has happened in a pretty quick time with your choice and us planning to go to Vegas and Good Things Utah and some other things that are happening that's increasing awareness even more than what we've seen. What are some of your goals and some next steps with Spoonful?
So some people have seen me on a live where they asked me this, and I was like, Rex says she gets really excited. She gets really excited. So I touched on, I have to hold back with poor Rex gets the first of my ideas or visions, and he's had to be like, slow your roll. I've got to take a little bite at a time. I can't even, what?
You're making it a reality.
Because, yes, nothing's too
Which,
big.
by the way, I love, quite frankly, our dynamic. I mean, of course, we have our private life and relationship, and she is the love of my life, and I love you very much. And as we work together as kind of business partners in a way, you know, just the coming together and learning our different strengths and following her lead and all that, it's just a joy to be a part of that. But for sure, that's a good way to put it, is bite sizes, baby, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, in terms of us making it a reality.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. I have to respect that. He's got a life outside of Spoonful and me, and I'm constantly thinking and then running it by God, and then sometimes I get an idea and I'm like, was that you? And I'll say this, everything that he has touched and every part that he has been so beautifully balanced. He has even had to say, you know, it's not just okay, you have to slow down, because I'm going to need this to work. And I'm going to need more people found and loved on, and so that's going to be real hard if you're not here.
Yeah.
And so, and I've had to listen to him that way and just take a step back, and you know, but I'm in communion and meditation and prayer with him a lot. It's easy to be when you're suffering and he's the balm, you know? And so I'll put it this way, nothing's too big or too much for you guys. It never will be. There will never be enough exposure. There will never be enough votes. There will never be enough award shows. And there will never, ever, ever be enough money and compassion and love to encircle you guys the way you have always deserved. I give respect to every other serious thing going on in this world. But I have no problem saying it's time to shift the light, the spotlight on those who have been forgotten, forsaken, abused. If Rex and I, all we can do is love on you guys harder, that's what we're going to do. But it takes time. Many of them are sharing their stories, right? Many of them, you can see they're drowning. They're drowning. They're losing their homes, their cars, their jobs, their family. Someone with IBS, I have it, it's a part of CRPS. It's a part of the body, it happens. Someone just said last week that they lost their relationship with their significant other because of IBS. We don't ask to suffer. And I'll tell you something about IBS. it can scare me more than pain. I've thought several times that I would die
Yeah.
in front of Rex.
Yeah.
It's easy to push us aside. It's easy to say, you're hard to look at. Do you know how many of these people, every single one of them, are brilliant in one way or another? Talents, a lot of ability, a lot of dreamers, a lot of overcomers, a lot of angels. Without trial, we don't know joy. Without looking in the faces of pain, you don't know the difference. Go back a year, digest every one of our interviews with every one of these people, whether it's they're born with a disease, whether it's a trauma situation, mental, physical, chronic, doesn't matter. It's all there. They also are missing a lot of nurses that used to be home care nurses. They're not getting, a lot of them are losing them. I can give you 2 billion reasons to vote right now. 2 billion, more than that, are suffering immensely all around you.
3.5 billion.
We need positivity. We need laughter. We need fitness. We need the motivation, the spiritual, the
Comedy, education,
the chefs,
dance.
that all you guys
Love
make me live. You make me want. You make me fight. So, I'm saying that, being very honored standing next to you. But I'm wanting all of that so bad for those that are just forgotten. My next option is going to a very beautiful, but it's thousands of dollars. A 2-week-long retreat where I go away. I don't really have anything else, and every one of my options, other than ketamine, shout out to Restorative Health in Utah. They're amazing. Rita and Will, we freaking love you. They have done amazing with me, and I know that they haven't given up. And Mercedes and the staff. There's not anybody there that I haven't met that is amazing, but they have worked and worked and worked with me, and I'm not one of the quiet ones, so I get put in the basement. Not really the basement, it's just a level, it's okay. I can be talkative, I can want to dance, I can, I'm very picky about my surroundings and colors, so I know that when I come in, they're like, ooh, here we go. But I think we've kind of reached, but they keep trying with me. Other than that, I think pretty much all options are out of state and expensive. And so doing Spoonful on top of everything that we have going on, and we have not, we would, any donations to us would never, it would only serve to serve you guys. That's all we want to do. That's what we want to do. It's how we choose to live our life, and we can't wait to get there. We can't wait to get to you in one way or another, and we can't wait to work with a ton of companies. I'm touching a little bit on what Rex asked before, what do I see? We cannot wait to bring this into a bigger and bigger and bigger light, and we're not stopping in the US. Are you kidding me? We've interviewed some of the most incredible souls already dotted around the world. We're not just picking on America and their laws. It's a problem throughout the world. Everyone that's interviewed with us so far it's been on video and largely on lives while we're on live. But that is not the only way to tell your story. You can interview without your picture. You can interview not necessarily an interview, but tell your story by writing to us as we build our website more. We'll have a tab that you can go into and it will highlight. Not everybody's going to want to get on camera. You can interview without your personal information and just get on and tell your story. I know some of you have stories that involve trauma and that you're still in it, and some even in a very tricky or dangerous situation. That does not need to stop you from telling your story. And we want to make sure that you'll know this is not just chronic pain, physical chronic pain. I say this a lot. If you've got one, you have another. If you're dealing with mental, you've got physical, vice versa. And then we really love to hear about people that have been born with things, because so often they're so much further than us, right? They've needed to immediately pick up skills that we couldn't even imagine, and we love them. And we deal with a lot of trauma situations. We deal with specifically mental. We deal with it. It doesn't matter if your story is about being an addict and being in prison and how you overcame that or are overcoming that. If your story is about coming out, whatever that looks like, and or if you're still wondering who the hell you are, we're here to listen. There's so many types. You know, when we really drill down, I love to say, well, if you're human, if you're human, this should interest you. We all suffer. Some suffering is worse than others. It's true. It's not all equal. It's not all the same. But we still need to not compare, and we need to sit with what we've been given, give it respect, and learn from it, grow from it, and be proud of what you're working through. So that's important. Getting to know you, number one. I'll sum it up real easy. Getting to spoil you, number two. Because that's how you should be treated. And we've got a real problem of selfishness in this world. Rex and I will be traveling. Now, some of you may ask, how? How would you travel? And I'm going to touch on this as well. Why are you dressed up and you have makeup on and you look halfway decent right now? You don't look sick. You don't look like you're in pain. You don't know anything. You don't know. Just everyone needs to stop. If there's a young person that parks in a handicapped stall and gets out, you don't get to go judge them. If they've got a sticker hanging, young people can get very sick. A lot of young people die. Okay, so we don't need people coming at us. I am here. Rex and I are supposed to go visit our amazing community and businesses today, and this has gone on longer than we thought. And just introduce us as a company and their neighbor and friend and fellow business owners, and also really rallying for their vote for you guys. But he asked me, do you want to do this today? Because I told you guys, if we got this far, I would tell my story. And then I said, okay, not feeling the best, And like I said, I was feeling worse and worse throughout this. I've even explained it's hard for me to think right now, and I've had to take a long break during this, and not feeling the best right now. Sometimes when I wear makeup, number one, I love it. I love those that don't love it and they're natural. Love you, so please love me and how much I do love it. But number two, because of my fever, it's hard to focus on someone's words. If I were sitting in front of you with a full-blown fever and I've there's swelling in my eye, it looks like it's even several times the professionals that deal with this, it stops them in their track. So you're not going to be focused on my words. So sometimes I'll just, take that away. Sometimes I am just fine. Oftentimes I don't have makeup most time. But I also feel better. I feel like I'm connecting with Nelle, and I need that. We eventually want to have an RV so that I can be sick while he's traveling, but our goal is to get to, several of you a year, those who are really isolated, those who are end of life, whoever needs it and wants it, and then other than that, to get to a bunch of you, just to sit with you one-on-one, and we'll figure it out. There's been many things I said, I don't know, I just know that's what he wants. And when it comes time, he'll provide the way and he'll let me know. And that's exactly what's happened for 2 years without a single mistake. I'd even say we are stunned to be stunned. I shouldn't be, because I know who's leading this. But to be included in among the most incredible human beings with the most incredible foundation. This is way more than, we set our goals, and it's, you guys have really surpassed, and you're really standing up and saying we're ready and we need to be seen. I'm proud as hell over that, but we have huge dreams, and a lot of them we've thought through in detail, and we're just waiting for funds, and we'll get there. But right now, what's important, and I want to make sure Rex doesn't have another question.
I think that as we kind of close out this interview, which, by the way, thank you so much for doing. I know people are going to really love this. What's the most important lesson that you've learned in all of this?
My journey through pain, or
as well as
a spoonful,
and just all this whole experience with the chronic pain community, including yourself.
That our resilience is endless. Our ability, even in our human form, even with our bodies fighting against us, there's no words. That is every day, every single day, I'm shocked. And that there's nothing that's out of reach with faith and belief and looking at yourself differently. And that, I say it a lot because it's so good. Think of disruptions differently. We so often as humans take a word, and because someone else labeled it a long time ago as negative, That's the way it is. And we just accept it. That's simple. And it's wild to me. So I'm going to use that one word. We could do it with many others. If you have a mighty disruption, such as you've been smacked in the face with a condition, and then smacked in the face again, your condition's worsening. Smacked in the face again, guess what? You have two conditions, because that one caused this one, and this one caused that one, and your meds are doing this, and then, guess what? They're all disruptions. Guess what? They're all beautiful. You have got to look at disruption completely different. Same with positivity. Okay? We talked about that. Disruption, these disruptions are giving you every opportunity you've ever wished for, and then even more that you haven't. Things that you didn't even know that you could have asked for. To be better, to be stronger, to be more compassionate, to be an angel for somebody, to serve better, to search, to see miracles, to find a better way, to see a better path, to be smarter, to love yourself more, appreciate yourself more. Say it to yourself every day. When your body is causing this dismay and this disruption, it's say, I'm damn proud of you because you're still beating, you're still thinking, you're still breathing, and I don't care if it's if you got transplants, I don't care if somebody else's passing is giving you a gift. Well, guess what? You're still going to say it, right? You know, of course you are. Anybody that's gone through that is super, super grateful. But even when I'm in pain, I'm like, you're brilliant. Huh. You're flaring up quite beautifully, might I add. You know what I mean? Like you're, your life will change no matter what state you're in. When you step out of negativity and fear and just hopelessness and wanting to die, and you step into joy. I'm not going to use the word happy. I'm not going to use the joy is my word for the deepest, truest, lasting happiness. When you step into joy and true peace, and I used to think of peace like you grab it along the way, you know. I got a little bit of peace. Ooh, that was nice. Bull. You're going to have peace all the time. And of course you're going to have hiccups. But still, it's going to baseline. It will be your foundation. Joy, peace, service. It's the reason I named it Spoonful of Sugar. I decided years ago, and I wore this ring for a long time, as Spoonful of Sugar, before we started Spoonful of Sugar. Because I decided, didn't matter how many spoons I had left in a day. And if you're not a spoonie and you don't know what it means, please go look it up. It's worth it for anyone that's a spoonie. It's worth it for you to know, to understand them. But I decided if it's the last thing I do every damn day of my life, even if it's where I don't know what day is which, I don't know the date, I don't know but at least within 24 hours, right? That last spoon will always have sugar, and that sugar means service. And I will always be able to serve. And so often we think because we're down physically that we can't serve. Bullshit. Some of the greatest service I've ever seen is from beds and in the worst conditions. And you're stunning. Your situation is stunning. You have every opportunity now, more so than you had physical ability. And you can serve endlessly. And you can be joyful and peaceful. And I'm going to touch on this very gently. For those of you that are in relationships, you know, you've got your significant other and one of them suffering. which means, quite honestly, both of you are. If you think intimacy is lost, oh, you need a class. We'll help you. There's nothing more beautiful than people that fight for each other while they're in the fight of their lives. And there's ways to feel you're not on this world anymore. That deep of intimacy. Rex and I can't wait to go so much further with you guys and link arms with people that can help with products or funds, or it's all about that, and it's all about you, and it's all because of him. He loves you that much, and he's tired of seeing you being pushed aside. Your suffering is enough. He's asked enough of you. He never wanted your brothers and sisters here, your fellow human beings, to turn away from you and, worse, abuse you. So, speaking a little bit of Spread the Cheer USA Foundation, a nonprofit who beautifully does what they do, and they do exactly what I just said. Exactly who they say they are is who they are. Some of the most beautiful human beings. One of the things they do is Cheer Choice USA, or Cheer Choice Awards. And I touched on it a little bit. We've been shockingly, stunningly, amazingly blessed by all of you and by our community, by our families, our friends. You guys have been surrounded. It's not just you out there voting. You have a lot of people stepping up to the plate and saying, SOS, be seen. It's not just you suffering saying it anymore. Your SOS is being seen. And we're not stopping at this. We have a small window to put that spotlight on you in the greatest way possible right now. And that is to finish number 1. And that small window is 4 days. And that small window is, I don't care if you have $5, but we also don't care if you just have that free vote and you're shaking. I know some of you are shaking, pushing that vote because you're in that much pain. Or you have a caretaker do it. You know what I mean? We get it. But for those of you that have, we're not asking selfishly for money. And nor is Cheer Choice. This money has gone this season to dozens and dozens and dozens of families that needed it this holiday season. And any further money they are very, very responsible for, and very transparent, and they are very beautiful. And they're the type of humans that we need more of. And we cannot thank them enough. We cannot thank our competitors. They're friends, really. We have become, all of them, we have so much respect for. They're beautiful people, and to me, they're lasting friends. And they'd be rooting for you too. But for those of you that are suffering, or know somebody that's suffering, if you're friends or family of ours, or any of theirs, if you're in our community, if you're in our cities, Eagle Mountain, Saratoga, Lehigh, American Fork, Draper, Alpine, Bluffdale, Riverton, Springville, Spanish Fork.
Sandy,
You're
Salt
all our
Lake.
neighbors. Your neighbors. If you are in Utah, please put Utah on the map as the biggest, the first and largest to vote for these people and to say your SOS is being seen. And we're here to hold you. And we're here to see you on that stage. And we're here to see you on many more.
One really quick way to find us is if you just Google spoonful of sugar Rex Nelle.
With 2 L's, not one.
Nelle.
We don't want Mary. I am Mary Pop. I'm trying to be, but we don't want to be in competition with the real one. Okay.
If you search us, one of the best options, if you just scroll down a little bit, you'll find a link tree for spoonful of sugar Rex Nelle. And if you open that's the one place you can find anything related to us. So it provides links to the upcoming the live stream that we're going to be having shortly.
Mm-hmm.
It also is for Good Things Utah. It's the place to donate, vote for your choice, to donate for Spoonful, and the various links to social media.
Yes.
And more. Nelle's audio letter is there that she recorded earlier. So a lot of fun stuff, and that's the easiest way. Of course, if you're in their social media platforms and that's what you found and you went into, if you went into Facebook or TikTok,
Right.
there's a link to the link tree in there as well. So a number of different ways that you can reach us, but
Or type in Cheer Choice 2023. And then it will say, hey, who are you
Yes.
looking for?
that's true.
Just type in spoonful of sugar and it, boom.
Yep, you can go straight to
It's
that.
very simple.
That company, you can go straight to that website and search. Yep.
You playing if you're saying you can't find us. 'Cause if I can, y'all can. We will be out in our community the next couple of days. It's 4 short days. And we'll be in Vegas regardless, but nothing would make this heart happier, or his, to see them be able to stand or sit, depending on their disability, their ability, and have them really be seen. So,
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. We love you. Thank you, Nelle, for doing this for all of us. You and this has been beautiful, and we're just getting started. So
We are just getting started. The fun is coming.
just
Yeah.
here we go. So stay tuned.
We get too excited over this stuff.
We love this. This is
So,
something that we're passionate about
yes.
because we've lived it. We know how it
Yes.
feels, and there are too many people out there that
Yes, I want to finish with, I know the holidays are hard for a lot of you, and we're not through them, and I know a lot of you are thinking, oh, hell no, I'm not going into another new year like this. We are asking you to fight. I'm asking you to hang on. I'm asking you not to make a final decision. I'm asking you to value yourself, and if you can't, to reach out. We're asking you to, if you don't feel comfortable calling a hotline, to message us. We're asking you to hang on until the day, the moment that you do see you and value you, because it is there and it is coming and it's closer than you think, and we love you and we'll love you harder until you can love yourself even a fraction of how much we love you. And forgive us, we are a very low budget production. but if our worth was based on how much we love you, we should be good. Because it's
pretty big.
yeah.
Love you guys.